There is a huge conversation happening right now around antidepressants. Who should be on them? Who shouldn't? Whether they're being overprescribed. But honestly, I think almost everyone is arguing about the wrong thing. Because the real question is not, should women be taking SSRIs? The real question is, why are so many women needing them in the first place? And what's being missed when medication becomes the only plan? Because when you feel terrible, exhausted, anxious, or emotionally overwhelmed, of course you want relief. And here's what I see over and over again with women in midlife: they're exhausted, they're overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, not sleeping, not feeling like themselves. And yes, sometimes medication absolutely has a place, but what almost no one is talking about is why so many women's bodies are ending up in this state in the first place. Anxiety and depression don't just appear out of nowhere. The body is responding to something, and that is the conversation we should be having. Hey, beautiful, it's Claudine, functional health practitioner and author of Your Midlife Body Code. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. And if you want help figuring out where your body is right now and what might actually be driving your symptoms, you can take my Midlife Body Code quiz below. So let's dig in. If you've been struggling with anxiety or low mood and the primary solution you've been given is a prescription, you're not crazy and you're not doing anything wrong. What you're experiencing is incredibly common. The problem is no one is explaining what's actually happening in your body in a way that makes sense. So today I want to walk you through how SSRIs actually work, why they often stop working long term, and what's actually being missed underneath that anxiety and depression in midlife. So, what are SSRIs? SSRIs are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They are commonly prescribed for depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and mood-related symptoms. Medications like Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, Lexapro, you may have heard of some of these. And these medications work on something called serotonin. You may have heard of it. Serotonin is one of your brain's neurotransmitters. Those are basically chemical messengers that affect how you feel. Now, serotonin is often referred to as your happy neurotransmitter because it plays a role in mood, emotional stability, sleep, feeling calm and okay in your body. Now, there's another important neurotransmitter called dopamine. Now, dopamine is more connected to motivation, drive, pleasure, focus, feeling excited about life. And this matters because low serotonin is commonly associated with anxiety and depression, while low dopamine often looks more like flatness or low motivation, lack of drive, brain fog, or feeling emotionally numb. And a lot of women in midlife are dealing with both. Now, here's the important part. SSRIs do not create serotonin, nor do they increase your body's ability to produce it. What they do is help your brain hold on to the serotonin it already has longer. So instead of reabsorbing it quickly, more stays active in the system. And yes, that can absolutely help symptoms at first, but here's the limitation nobody explains. They influence how serotonin is used, but they don't address why production may be low in the first place, which means that you have to have enough serotonin in order for these to continue to work. And that distinction matters more than most people realize, because the body doesn't just magically make neurotransmitters, or it doesn't just magically have them. It has to make them. And that process depends on multiple systems functioning properly. So to produce serotonin, your body needs amino acids from protein, B vitamins, magnesium, healthy digestion, proper nervous system signaling, and balanced hormones. How many of us have all of those? And dopamine production also depends on amino acids, iron, B vitamins, adequate nutrition, and nervous system health. So if those systems are depleted, neurotransmitter production drops. And that is what I think is being missed in this conversation, because we have millions of women struggling emotionally while simultaneously under-eating. They're chronically stressed, inflamed, sleep deprived, nutrient depleted, hormonally dysregulated, and stuck in constant survival mode. And then we wonder why so many women feel exhausted, anxious, overwhelmed, and unlike themselves. Girl, this is not random. The body is responding to what it is being asked to handle. It can only do so many things. And then there's the gut piece. Okay, so a huge amount of neurotransmitter activity is influenced through the gut because that's where the lion's share of neurotransmitters are made. So if someone has chronic inflammation, gut imbalances, poor digestion, food sensitivities, that can absolutely affect mood and neurotransmitter balance. Because if your gut is messed up, it's not making neurotransmitters, which means sometimes what looks purely emotional is actually deeply physiological. And yes, for some women, gluten can be a major issue here. Not to throw a curveball in this, but gluten is highly inflammatory for many women. It can absolutely contribute to gut dysfunction and neurotransmitter imbalance by extension, especially as it relates to serotonin. But the main point here is that if the underlying system is still inflamed or dysfunctional, the emotional symptoms often continue as well. Now, why do these stop working? Why do SSRIs stop working? This is also why some women say things like, it helped at first, but then it plateaued. Or, I don't feel as bad, but I don't feel good either. Because if your body still isn't producing enough serotonin on its own, you're still working with a limited supply. And if the underlying systems are never rebuilt, you're still depleted underneath. Not because the medication failed, but because it was not designed to address the root cause. Remember, it's only telling your body to hold on to the serotonin that's already there. So if there isn't enough anymore, the medications can't work properly. Medications can help manage symptoms. But symptom management is not the same thing as rebuilding the system. And I really want women to hear that because that is the part that is missing from this conversation. Now, this is especially important in midlife women because this is when we often see hormonal shifts, worsening sleep, blood sugar instability, increased stress load, nervous system exhaustion. Anyone? And the gut issues that become more obvious. And many women have been pushing through these for years, right? They've been taking care of everybody else. They've been performing. They've been overachieving. They have been ignoring what their body has been trying to say. Believe me, I have been there. And until eventually the body stops whispering and it starts screaming, right? You feel those symptoms louder. And now it shows up as anxiety, depression, overwhelm, irritability, panic, emotional instability. And again, these symptoms are real, but they are not random. So what should we be doing? This is where we need a more complete approach, not an either or. So not medication or functional support, but medication or the natural equivalent plus rebuilding the system underneath. Otherwise, we're often just managing symptoms without improving the body's ability to function and regulate more effectively over time, which means you'll always be on the medication. So where do you start? Remember, the goal isn't to push through symptoms forever. It is to support the body so it has the opportunity to become more resilient and functional over time. So here are my tips. Number 1, and these are going to sound familiar if you've been following me, but eat enough protein. Your brain needs amino acids to produce neurotransmitters. Most women are not getting enough protein to support neurotransmitter production. So you want to aim for 20 to 30 grams per meal 3 times per day, okay? No skipping the meals. This alone can change neurotransmitter production and nervous system stability significantly. Number 2 is to stabilize blood sugar. If your blood sugar is up and down all day, your brain is constantly trying to compensate. That can feel like anxiety, irritability, panic, emotional instability. So stop skipping meals, pair your protein with carbs, and avoid living on caffeine. Number 3, replenish minerals. Most women I work with are low in magnesium, sodium, and potassium, and those minerals are critical for nervous system regulation. That is why adrenal cocktails, electrolytes, and mineral support can help so much. Number 4, support neurotransmitter production directly. And this is another piece most women are never told. There are also nutraceutical options that can help support neurotransmitters naturally. For example, 5-HTP is commonly used to support serotonin. DLPA is often used to support dopamine, motivation, focus, and mood. And for some women, these kinds of targeted supports may be worth exploring before immediately jumping to medication or alongside other functional work. But remember, we test, we don't guess. If you need to know if your 5-HTP or DLP are low, you want to take a neurotransmitter panel. Because again, the goal is not just symptom management, it is helping the body function better underneath. And this is important because anxiety and depression don't always come from the exact same biochemical pattern. Some women are dealing with low serotonin and others are dealing with low dopamine, and many are depleted in both. This is why blindly self-describing based on TikTok, or sometimes the doctor just prescribing based on your symptoms and not actual testing, can backfire. Because supporting the wrong system can sometimes make symptoms worse instead of better. Number 5 is to reduce your nervous system load. Don't roll your eyes, because if your body has been in survival mode for years, it needs safety before it can repair. And this is where a lot of women get frustrated because they think nervous system support means just relax. That's not what I mean. I mean giving your body consistent signals that it is safe, that it's no longer in a state of emergency. That can look like eating consistently instead of running on caffeine all day, going to bed earlier instead of getting a second wind at 10 p.m., strength training instead of punishing cardio, getting outside in the morning for light exposure, taking breaks instead of pushing through exhaustion, reducing overstimulation, whatever that is for you, breath work that actually slows your physiology down. And for some women, this may also include targeted support like peptides that help calm an overly active nervous system or improve sleep quality. Not because they fix everything on their own, but because sometimes the body needs help getting out of constant fight or flight mode so it can finally start repairing. Because when a body has been on for years, it often needs more than mindset work to feel safe again. And honestly, sometimes it also means setting boundaries, asking for help, and stopping the constant pressure to push through everything. Because you can't repair in the same environment your body has been surviving in. A constantly stressed system does not regulate well. And when your nervous system finally starts to feel safer, the rest of the body often starts responding differently too. Now, I want to be clear about this. If you are currently on an SSRI, this is not a recommendation to suddenly stop taking it. These medications affect brain chemistry, so stopping abruptly can cause very real withdrawal symptoms. Any changes should be done gradually, thoughtfully, and with proper medical guidance. So, when I look at the current SSRI conversation, I don't think the real issue is whether these medications should exist. The real issue is, why are so many women's bodies struggling this much in the first place? And why are we so rarely addressing that? Because your body isn't broken, it's responding to what it's experiencing. And when you finally start supporting the systems underneath, things can change in a much deeper, lasting way. Now, if you want help understanding what your body might actually be asking for, take the Midlife Body Code quiz. It will help you identify which systems may be struggling the most, what patterns are showing up in your body, and where to start first. Because once you understand what your body is actually asking for, everything starts to make a lot more sense. And if this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what landed for you most. See you next time.